Hey, everybody, Rebecca Ward. I am going to talk to you a little bit about social anxiety and isolation. So many of us haven't been around a lot of people in the last couple of years. And so our anxiety is a little bit on edge right now. People are a little bit more aggressive or fearful or fatigued, some kind of response that's out of our normal range may be happening to you and the folks around you. And the reason for that is that our social engagement system, which is this here, right? And you'll see here on the chart, the social aspects of what we have learned before about the vagus nerve. If you have my book, you'll know what that is. If you've looked at the other demo about the vagus nerve and VU breathing, you know about the vagus nerve. It's the largest bundle of nerves in our body, the vagus nerve, and it connects to all of these critical organs that you see on this chart. The part that we're focusing on today is the social aspect or the social engagement part of our nervous system that is connected to the vagus nerve. So you can see your eyes, your nose, your ears, your throat, brainstem, face muscles, neck muscles, all of those social aspects on this chart are part of the social part of our nervous system. And that largely atrophied in the last couple of years because we've been isolated, because we've had masks on, and we miss out on empathy. Our empathy neurons are not firing off with each other because we've been isolated and we've had masks on. So we don't get to see people smile. That's a problem. Because what happens is we tend to kind of go into some kind of survival response. So people are more violent, more aggressive, more irritable, more anxious, some kind of response that's out of their ordinary reaction to situations. It's outsized. And we need to teach the nervous system how to reset itself again so that we feel safe around others, that our nervous systems aren't misfiring what it perceives to be a threat. So the way our nervous systems are still wired, we are wired for primitive times. So social parts of our nervous system, this piece, is orienting to what's happening in the room as if there is a saber-toothed tiger lurking in the grass. We have to reset that nervous system so it recognizes we're not in primitive times anymore. These are modern times. People aren't a threat. So the way you do that is to use nature. Parts of nature is always neutral, it's always present, and it's always relatively safe, right? So unless we're like out in the wild with a lion or something, but in our park systems, where we're outside in nature, we can reset this nervous system. So this is what we call orienting, and it's an advanced level ritual that I talk about in chapter 6 of my book, The Paper Tiger Syndrome. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to orient to your environment again. You're going to use nature. So we want to slow down. You're going to go outside. You're going to take a walk someplace out in nature, and you're going to slow your pace down, roughly about half of the pace in which you walk. Here's an example of that. Now, what we want to do is use this vagus nerve, the system here up in your social engagement part. We want to orient to our external environment, to nature. It's nice and neutral. We're going to start with that, and then you can start introducing people more and more to your social life again. But what I would say to you is that the eyes are the first place to start. So just watch this. We want to let the eyes lead us. We're not moving quickly. We're letting the eyes land on something. So you're walking slowly out in nature, and then you want the eyes to land on something settling or calming. All right, so my eyes have found something here in front of me. It's a little flower. And I'll show you. You want to just let the eyes naturally gaze upon a petal of a flower. Don't take in the whole bush or the whole tree or the whole anything. You just want to let the eyes take in what it can take in, what they can take in right now. So the petal on a flower, or the leaf on a tree, or bark on a tree. We're going to use the eyes to just gaze upon something that it can take in without having to dart the eyes anywhere else. We're just going to hang out there for, I don't know, I'd say maybe a minute on that piece. And then if the eyes want to go to something else as you're walking, you go up to something else like the bark on a tree. And we use now our sense of touch to connect. So you have your hand on, for example, the bark on a tree, and we just take in the texture of that tree. And then accessing that for a while, hang out there for maybe a minute, slowing down your walking still, taking in the one thing in front of you, that bark. Hang out there for a minute, as an example, the bark. Whatever else you can access, some form of texture. So you're using touch and your eyes. Yeah. Okay. Here's another piece you can bring in. You want to bring in sound. So you might hear the birds chirping. Taking that lovely sound of the birds chirping. Sense of smell might be another one. So, you can take something from home that smells pleasant, or something in your environment, like the smell of a pine cone or the smell of fresh air, taking that in. And then, you might take in the taste. Is there some taste that you're accessing in your environment? Bigger stretch there, but we're taking in our senses, regardless of where you are. You want to take in the senses, starting with the eyes, slowing down your walking, listening to the silence, making contact with a leaf or the bark or whatever, listening to the sights, the sounds, the smells, the touches, the tastes. Engaging your senses will help you orient to the environment again and let the nervous system, your social engagement part of the vagus nerve, register that your environment is safe. And I'd recommend maybe doing a practice like this at least once a week, and slowly introduce yourself to social settings again. And if you've got social anxiety, this is a great practice to take up. Okay? I hope that helps. Pick up my book, The Paper Tiger Syndrome, How to Liberate Yourself from the Illusion of Fear. That's a paper tiger, the illusion of fear. See you soon. Take care of yourselves.